We'll move into the California increase in minimum wage. As a lot of employers are already aware, the California minimum wage increases to $16 per hour on January 1st, 2024 for all employers. As a reminder, for exempt employees, the salary threshold is triggered off of the state minimum wage. So the salary threshold is 2 times the equivalent of 2 times the state minimum wage for a full-time worker. So therefore, for somebody to qualify as an exempt employee under the white-collar exemptions, their salary is going to need to be at least $66,560 per year, or $5,546.67 per month. So the salary threshold is increasing based on this new minimum wage threshold. And we get the question a lot, does that salary threshold go up if there's a local ordinance that requires a higher minimum wage than the $16 per hour? It does not. The salary threshold is based on the state minimum wage, even if you're in a local jurisdiction with a higher minimum wage. You're still looking to the state minimum wage when you're calculating the salary threshold for exempt employees. And as another reminder, to qualify as an exempt employee under the white-collar exemptions, the salary threshold is just one factor. The other factor is a duties test. Generally speaking, the employee has to perform more than 50% of their duties on high-level exempt duties to qualify as an exempt employee as well. So you need to be looking at both of those factors for the exempt employee to make sure they're properly classified as an exempt employee. So also, wanted to bring this to everybody's attention as well. There's a measure on the November 2024 ballot to increase the minimum wage up to $18 over time. So keep an eye on that. It looks like that will continue to be on the ballot here in 2024. Pay attention to that. Now, turning to other minimum wage increases, in the fast food industry, we had a major development this year with the FAST Act, and then AB 1228 came in and repealed the FAST Act and set up this fast food council, and is going to increase the minimum wage that's required for fast food employers here in California. So to start off, the covered employers under AB 1228 applies to national fast food chains, which are defined as limited service restaurants consisting of more than 60 establishments nationally that share a common brand or characterized by standardized options for decor, marketing, packaging, products, and services. And then 3 that are primarily engaged in providing food and beverages for immediate consumption on or off premises, where patrons generally order or select items and pay before consuming with limited or no table service. Now, we've got a few clients that are reaching out. It's pretty clear and it's obvious, which establishments meet these requirements, but there are some establishments that are in a gray area. So we're working our way through that. Obviously these fast food establishments are pretty clearly defined, but there are a few other types of restaurants that don't necessarily meet this requirement, but are in between a sit-down establishment and a quick service type of establishment. So we do have some further guidance. You can look to the North American Industry Classification Code category there that I have set out on the slide. But again, that's not the bright line. It's just an example of the limited service restaurant. Clearly excluded from the law are bakeries and grocery stores. So they are not included as fast food restaurants. Now, the key provisions of AB 1228, as I mentioned, increases the minimum wage to $20 per hour on April 1st, 2024. And then the council is going to meet each year thereafter. And January 1st of each year, the council can increase the minimum wage based on a number of factors by the lesser of 3% of the average change in the consumer price index, can look at that to set the minimum wage. They also have some discretion to modify the minimum wage for different jurisdictions, localities within California. So fast food establishments and operators need to be watching this council for the minimum wage increase for the industry going forward after April 1st. And also that there's some talk about and some misconception to this AB 1228 preempts local minimum wage requirements to the extent it's focused on fast food workers. But if a local requirement is higher than this $20 per hour, the employers still need to apply the higher minimum wage if it's a general requirement for all employers. So it only preempts local jurisdictions from focusing on fast food workers, but otherwise these establishments need to comply with general minimum wage requirements for all employers. Now, the Fast Food Council does have some other authority to make recommendations about workplace safety and work conditions, but they do not have under AB 1228 the authority to implement new requirements in the industry. It still has to go through legislative or other process to be implemented. So they really only have the power to change the minimum wage each year going forward. Also part of AB 1228, the Industrial Welfare Commission will not be revived under AB 102. This was a little backdoor that the governor had in place and had signed AB 102 earlier this year to re-implement the Industrial Welfare Commission that has the authority to issue wage orders. And that if this FAST Act was going to be repealed next year, the governor was going to rely on the Industrial Welfare Commission to implement further workplace requirements for employers in this industry. And it made me a bit nervous too. The IWC does have power. It regulates nearly almost every industry throughout California. So with that being refunded, there is probably going to be a lot of changes for other industries outside of the fast food industry too. But fortunately, that is off the table now with 1228. We will not see the Industrial Welfare Commission be refunded and promoting new workplace requirements. And then the big issue too under AB 1228 is it got rid of the joint employer relationship provisions between franchisors and franchisees. This was a big negotiating point for the labor unions. They wanted to have this joint employer relationship between franchisors and franchisees, and that has been taken out, and that was part of the compromise reached in coming up with this AB 1228.